Okay, today we're going to be talking about angle relationships, part 2. Okay, and our essential question is which type of angle relationships are congruent? Okay, so first let's see what congruent is. Congruent is basically, it's either an angle or a shape that has the same size, same shape, and exact same measure. So it's basically another word for equal. Okay, a transversal is going to be something new that we talked about. It's a line that intersects two or more parallel lines. So let's see what that looks like. Let's say we have two parallel lines just like this, and parallel means that there are two lines that they never cross, right? Those are two lines that are never going to cross, right, with little arrows. And a transversal is going to be a line that crosses them, just like that, right? And so this part right here, that red is going to be our transversal. It's a line that crosses two or more parallel lines, and where this line and this line are parallel. Okay, and so what we're going to do with this is we're going to look at 8 angles that it has. Basically, there's an angle right here, right? Angle right here, angle 1. There's another angle right here. There's an angle here and 4, right? And then all the other ones over here, right? So 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to be looking at those angles to see which ones are congruent, so which ones are the same measure, and then which ones have other relationships towards each other, okay? So the first type of angles relationships we have is corresponding angles. Those are same side and congruent. So when I say same side, I'm talking about when we have two parallel lines, so kind of like this, and then we have a transversal, right? I'm going to number all my angles, right? And so what I'm saying when I'm saying corresponding side, they're the same side. So if they're on the same side of the transversal. So if we look at angle 1, on the bottom, angle number 5, those are corresponding angles because they're basically on the same side of the transversal, right? They're like, if we look like a little box, they're both over here. Right? Another corresponding angles are 2 and 6, because if we kind of box it up like this, right, they would be over here in that the same part of the box, right? The other corresponding angles, let's do blue, will be 3 and 7, right? And the last corresponding angles will be 4 and 8. Okay, so angles 1 and angle 5, they're corresponding angles. Angle 2 and angle 6. Angle 3 and angle 7. And the last corresponding angle pair is angle 8 or angle 4 and angle 8. Okay. The next type of relationship for angles is vertical angles. And those vertical angles, they're across from each other and they have the same vertex, okay? And the way they're the relationship that they have is that they're also congruent. Okay, so let's look at our parallel lines and then our transversal, right? I'm going to go ahead and number our angles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And so vertical lines, let's say I have angle 1. The vertical angle for number 1 is going to be the one across from it, which is angle 4. Right? Let's see. The next vertical angle that I see is angle 2. The one across from it would be angle 3, right? Because it's across. Let me get this. It's across from itself, okay? So, let's see, another one. If we do angle 5, the vertical angle for number 5 would be 8. and then the vertical angle for number 6 would be 7. So the thing that the thing that has them as a pair is that they have the same measure. Okay, so the measure of angle 1 and the measure of angle 4, they are the same. Okay, so angle 1 would be a vertical angle to angle 4. Angle 2 would be, and angle 3 would be vertical angles. Angle 5 and angle 8 would be vertical angles, and the last vertical angles would be 6 and angle 7. The next type of relationships are alternate interior angles. And so let's see what those are. So for alternate interior angles, they are inside of the parallel lines and they're opposite sides of the transversal. So let's look at how that looks like. Oops. So we have our two parallel lines and then our transversal, right? Let's label our angles. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, angle 8, right? And so for alternate interior angles, we're basically looking at the inside of the parallel line. So all this right here. So we're basically looking at 3, 4, 5, and 6 only. And the two angles that have a relationship will be the ones that are on the opposite sides of the transversal. Okay, so we're only looking at these two right here, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so for 6, its alternate interior angle is going to be on the other side at the bottom with number 3 would be there with number 6. Okay, because they're both inside of the parallel lines and they're opposite sides of the transversal. Right, remember this is the transversal and then these are the two parallel lines. Okay, the other pair, it will be that's an alternate interior angle will be angle 4 and angle 5 because they're both inside of the parallel lines and opposite of the transversal. Okay, so the congruent angles are angle 3 and angle 6 and angle 4 and angle 5. Okay, so that means that they are the same measure and they are the same measure. Okay. And the last type of relationship is going to be alternate exterior angles. So it's kind of like the interior angles, but it's talking about the outside. Okay, so let's put our two parallel lines, our transversal, and then let's label our angles. So angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7, angle 8. Okay, so it's outside of the parallel line. So now we're talking about this part, right? Because it's outside of the parallel lines. And we're still talking about the opposite of the transversals. Okay, so similar to the one... Sorry about that. We are talking about the outside parts of the parallel lines, and they're going to be opposite sides of the transversal. So the two pairs that are alternate exterior angles will be angle 1 and then angle 8. Okay. And then the ones that are the other ones will be angle 2 and angle 7. Okay, and they are the same measure, So angle 1 and angle 8 are the same measure, and angle 2 and angle 7 are the same measure. Okay, so with that information, it is a lot of information, but we can kind of see like they're the same angles because they look similar too, right? So we're going to look at this question over here. And so it only gives us this angle. And so with just that angle, we're going to find the measure of angle A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay? So first thing that we can do is, I know that this angle and this angle, they're across from each other, so I know those are going to be the same angle, right? So I can say that angle C is 120 degrees because they are vertical angles, they are across from each other, and they are the same angle, okay? The other one that I can do is the one that is corresponding. So 120 will be the same as D. Okay, so that would be 120. And then if let's go ahead and write these in. 120, 120. If angle D is 120, that means that its vertical angle, angle G, is also 120. Right? And then we can also look at that angle C and angle G. They're corresponding, right? They're in the same box. Like if we drew a box, they're in that same side of the box, right? Okay, so we got most of them down, okay, just by looking at vertical and corresponding angles. Right? So the next part we would do is try to find A, B, E, and F. Okay, so the easiest way to do it is I'm going to just take this part, put it over here, and this is 120, and then this is angle A, right? Something that we learned on Monday was supplementary angles, and supplementary angles add up to 180, right? Because they are a straight line. So we can use that to find angle A. So I'm going to get 180, and I'm going to subtract 120. So here I get 0, get 6, and then 0, so 60. So that means A is 60. If A is 60, that means its corresponding angle, E, is also 60. Right? And then their vertical angles are also going to be the same thing. So if we look at angle A, the vertical angle for A is B. So that is the same as 60. And the same for the E. So E and F, they're vertical, so they are the same. That would also be 60.